بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Kashf al-Murad. As you remember, we started answering to the objections about Allah's knowledge. We already answered the question about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be both alim and ma'loom, and we said at-taghayuru i'tibariyun. There is a difference in consideration, and that's enough. We go to the next objection. قال ولا يستدعي العلم صورا مغايرة للمعلومات عنده. Knowledge does not require images which are different from those things which are known to him. لا يستدعي العلم صورا مغايرة للمعلومات عنده. Knowledge does not require images which are different from ma'lumat that are with him, or to be with him images which are different from ma'lumat. Both of them is correct. Inshallah, we will explain. But basically, the idea is that some people thought if Allah has knowledge of other things, it must be through mental images that we have. Allah also must have images of them, like al-Husuli. And then they say, okay, if he has mental images, then he would be subject to changes. He would be subject to takathur, because it means that in his essence there must be many, many things, and he would be changeable. There would be lots of problems. But the answer is that his knowledge is not through images. So, la yastad, he doesn't mention the objection like last time, He just gives the answer, Khajeh. But Allama says that this is the answer to an anticipated objection. لا يستدعي العلم صورا مغايرة للمعلومات عنده. Knowledge does not require images other than ma'lumat with him. Is to have images with him, or to have images of ma'lumat which are with him. لأن نسبة الحصول إليه, because the relation that Allah has with these objects which are known to him is more than the relation that we have with mental images. You know why I need mental image of, for example, a tree? Because that tree is not present for me. And we said knowledge is حضور المعلوم لدى العالم, if it is علم حضوري, or حضور صورة المعلوم لدى العالم, if it is علم حصولي. In the case of my knowledge of the tree, because tree is not hasil for me, is not present for me, I have to do it through surah, image. But this image of tree for me is less present than this tree for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Because this tree is created by him. لأن نسبة الحصول إليه, because the relation of husul for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala أشد من نسبة الصور المعقولة لنا. That relation that Allah has is stronger than the relation that we have with the mental images. أقول. Now Allah Mahalli tries to explain.
You still call it an image, though.
No, for us image, but for him there is no image.
Wouldn't use this word with Allah.
For Allah is knowledge by presence. أقول هذا جواب عن اعتراض آخر. This is answer to another objection. أورده, who has mentioned, أورد إيراد means to bring, to mention. Who has made this objection? من نفى علم الله تعالى بالماهيات المغايرة له. This objection is made by those people who say Allah doesn't have knowledge about mahiyat, quiddities which are other than him. He can have knowledge about himself, no problem. These people have problem with his knowledge about other things. His knowledge of himself is knowledge by presence. But knowledge of other things which are mumkinat, which have mahiyya, are different from him, they have problem because they think it must be through mental images, and Allah doesn't have mind, doesn't have mental images. Okay, so the focus of this objection is not knowledge of Allah about himself, is knowledge about mahiyat, which are different from him, because he is present for himself, definitely. So man nafa ilm Allah ta'ala bil mahiyat al mughayirat lah. Please remember that some of these objections that we have are not by atheists. Some of these objections are by people who are believers in God. Maybe they are Muslims, but they didn't have proper understanding of power of God as we had before, or knowledge of God. So always we are dealing with different types of people. And many times we are dealing with people from other schools of Kalam. So they say Allah doesn't have knowledge about mahiyat, which are different from him, of course, because they are his creatures. وَتَغْرِيرُ الْإِعْتِرَاض. Explanation of the objection is this. أَنَّ الْعِلْمِ صُورَةٌ مُسَاوِيَةٌ لِلْمَعْلُومِ فِي الْعَالَمِ. What is knowledge? Of course, this is knowledge which is husuli, conceptual knowledge. It's not ilm huzuri. Ilm is suratun musawiyatun lil ma'lum fil alam. Image which is equal, which is corresponding to ma'lum, must be for alam. In the mind of alam, in the soul of alam, this is there. فَلَوْ كَانَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَالِمًا بِغَيْرِهِ مِنَ الْمَاهِيَّاتِ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had knowledge of other things, things which are other than him, and this man is min bayaniyah. We mean by other than him, mahiyat. Yeah? If he had knowledge of other things, like us, animals, trees, whatever, لازم حصول صور تلك المعلومات في ذاته تعالى. Then it would have implied and required that images of those ma'lumat, those things which are known to him, must be present for him. وَذَلِكَ يَسْتَلْزِمُ تَكَثُّرَهُ. And this would imply that Allah has to become multiple. Because we said he is basit, he is simple. But if he has images of those things inside him, then he becomes basit. No, he becomes kathir. وَكَوْنُهُ قَابِلًا وَفَاعِلًا وَمَحَلًّا لَآثَارِهِ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must become qabil, means must accept different things. For example, we see someone is moving and then he stops. So according to these people, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must change. Because when he was moving, there was image of something which is moving. When it stops, there's an image of something which stops. So it means that Allah has to be subject to changes. He must accept different images. So he's qabil, he must accept different images. He must be creating different things at the same time. And he must be placed for different effects. وأنه تعالى لا يوجد شيئا مما يباين ذاته بل بتوسط الأمور الحالة فيها. Also, it would mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not create something which is different from himself, but must be through things. They had this information, or this type of idea, that it must be through things that are hal, things that settle in him, that he must create things. And this would be a problem. To say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does things, for example, Allah runs the world through images that he has, because without knowledge he cannot run the world. So he must use these images that are doing hulul to him, means they are dwelling in him. Through them he must do things. So he somehow becomes also dependent on things, plus he becomes mahal for different things. كل ذلك باطل. All of them are unacceptable. So this person or these people, they thought, if we say Allah has knowledge of things which are other than him, it would have bad consequences. And because of that bad consequences, we have to deny that he has knowledge of other things. Okay? It's like Burhan Khulf. You say, if P, then Q. But Q is not right. So not Q, then not P. وَتَغْرِيرُ الْجَوَابِ. Now let's see what's the reply. أن العلم لا يستدعي صورا مغايرة للمعلومات عنده تعالى. Knowledge does not require images of those things which are known to be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those things which are known to him to be represented in images. This endahu again can belong to one of the two things, either to say to have images with him from ma'lumat, or to have images of things which are known to him. In both cases it's the same. We don't accept that Allah's knowledge requires images. Why? لأن العلم هو الحصول عند المجرد. Because what is knowledge? As we said, Allah ma taqaddam, we said before, ilm is that something is present for something which is immaterial. And then we said, as you remember, I explained this, that when it is ilm huzuri, the ma'lum, the what is known, is present by itself. When it is ilm husuli, it is present through image. Yeah, either huzur or surat al-ma'lum lada al-alim, or huzur al-ma'lum lada al-alim. But must be huzur lada al-alim. In the case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is present for him. It's different from us. As I said, the tree is not present for me. It's something else. Even if I touch the tree, it still is not present for me. You shouldn't think that it's because of distance. Even if you hold the tree is not present for your nafs. Again, it's through your senses and images that you have from the tree. When I say image, I don't mean just like drawing. Image can be image of a voice, image of smell. Please be, image doesn't mean image like a picture. Suratu kulli shay'in bihasabi. For example, you have image of ruh. It's not like picture. Image of taste is not. So surah, when we say surah, is more general than just. Yeah, it's a concept, not just like a painting. لو كان تعالى لو كان الله تعالى عالما وتقرير الجواب أن العلم لا يستدعي صورا مغايرة للمعلومات عنده تعالى. Knowledge doesn't require images which are different from معلومات which are present for him, or images for him from معلومات. Why? لأن العلم هو الحصول عند المجرد. Because knowledge is presence for مجرد, something which is immaterial. على ما تقدم, as we said last week. ولا ريب في أن الأشياء كلها حاصلة له. All the things that are there are present for him. Why? لأنه مؤثرها وموجدها. Because Allah is the one who brings them into existence. Allah is the originator. Yes? So they depend on him, they rely on him, they are connected to him. The relation with Allah is closer than the relation of the radiation of sun to sun. وحصول الأثر للمؤثر. Presence of effect for the cause أشد من حصول المقبول لقابله, is more than presence of something which accepts another things, or معقول for عاقله. So when, suppose for example, I accept a condition. Suppose for example, I feel very hot. The presence of heat or feeling hot for me is very close. Or when I have image of something, the presence of this image is very close. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's relation with the things that he creates is even more than this. Because that's the cause. Yes.
Can I ask you, is there an example that you can give of this relation? Not exactly the way God has the relation. But is there something that you can...
Yeah, we always refer to the relation between you and your mental images.
Okay, but
Now,
this is not the same.
No. Mental images are not the same as relation of Allah, but this is the nearest thing that we... Right now you think of a rose flower. This rose flower is your creation. Yeah? And it's present for you because you have created it. Yeah? So in the same way that you feel very close to this rose flower, Allah feels and is close to everything that he creates. You don't need to know that rose flower through an image of that rose flower. That rose flower which is in your mind is known to you directly. مع أن الثاني لا يستدعي حصول صورة مغايرة للذات الحاصل. When you accept a condition, or when you have an image and you do qabul, means this is something that happens to you, you don't need surah, you don't need image. So why then when it comes to Allah's knowledge you say there must be image? فإنا إذا أقلنا ذواتنا لم نفتقر إلى صورة مغايرة لذواتنا. When you think about yourself and your conditions, you don't need to think of something which is separate from you, and then you need something in between to connect you. When we understand ourselves, عقلنا ذواتنا لم نفتقر إلى صورة. We don't need an image which is different from our zawat. ثم إذا أدركنا شيئا ما بصورة تحصل في أذهاننا. And when it is about not our essence, about something else, when we understand something with the image that happens in us, Again, that image itself, not what it shows, the image itself. فإنا ندرك تلك الصورة الحاصلة في الذهن بذاتها. Yeah, when you have image of rose, a rose outside, image is known to you directly. Yeah, the rose outside is through the image. This is why philosophers call image al-ma'lum bil-dhat, and flower is ma'lum bil-araz. What is known directly to me and primarily is my image of rose flower. Then rose flower is known secondarily, accidentally, means through the image. So those images are known to us بذاتها, by their own essence. لا باعتبار صورة أخرى. We don't need another image for that image. If for any image we need another image, then that image we need another image, we would never know anything. So our knowledge of those images is ilm huzuri. We don't need concept, another concept for that. وَإِلَّا لَزِمَ تَضَاعُفُ الصُّوَرِ. Otherwise we should have multiplied images, endlessly multiplied images. مع أن تلك الصورة حاصلة لذاتنا. That image is present for us. لا بانفرادها. Of course, it's not present as individual, it's not alone present for us. بل بمشاركة من المعقولات. But it is through other intelligibles, other things that we understand. Yeah, it's not that we have only this image. فحصول العلم بالموجودات لواجب الوجود الذي تحصل له الأشياء من ذاته بانفراده من غير افتقار إلى صور لها أو لا. If we know these images, and we don't know them, of course, individually, we need to know them in a context of many other things, then what about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He doesn't need anything and He can know anything directly and independently, they are more present. If your images are present for you, Allah's knowledge of these things are closer and stronger and more immediate. فحصول العلم بالموجودات لواجب الوجود. Existence or presence of knowledge of things that exist for necessary being الذي تحصل له الأشياء من ذاته. What is واجب الوجود? واجب الوجود is something that other things are present because of him. تحصل له الأشياء, things are present for him من ذاته, because of the ذات of واجب الوجود. The relation that Allah has with them is better than relation that we have with these images. بِانْفِرَادِهِ, they are for him through his essence, independently, مِنْ غَيْرِ افتقار إلى صور لها أو لا, without Allah needing any images. So the presence for him is awla, means is more appropriate than for us. So if we don't need image for understanding images, Allah doesn't need image for understanding other beings. وَلَمَّا كَانَ ذَاتُهُ سَبَبًا لِكُلِّ مَوْجُودٍ, since Allah's essence is the cause for every being. وَعِلْمُهُ بِذَاتِهِ, and his knowledge about himself and his essence إِلَّةٌ لِعِلْمِهِ بِآثَارِهِ. Why Allah knows other things? Because He knows His essence. And through his essence, he knows his actions, his deeds, his creations. We are actions of God, yeah? We are acts of God. Every creature is act of God. How does he know his acts? Because he knows his essence. Of course, inshallah, later we will hopefully see, especially in philosophy, that Allah has different types of knowledge. But we are now talking about Allah's knowledge of us in his essence, not about knowledge as a quality of action, yeah, not as a sifat fail, and not knowledge of Allah through images in alwah, as Masha'in also were emphasizing, which is also good, no problem. But for sure, Allah in his essence knows himself and knows his actions. So even eternally he knows us. And all together he knows us, not as separate things. Okay? But then...
So in that context, sir, is he outside the creation or with the creation? That would suggest he's outside the creation, right? Everything is emanated, emerged, creation has emerged from him.
Creation is dependent on him. It's not maybe very accurate to say he's outside the creation.
It's not accurate.
No, because what is the creation so that we say Allah is outside creation? Allah is not outside anything. He's not outside anything and not inside anything.
So the universe, the entire galaxies are his creation. So is
Yes.
he with the universe or is he
Yes.
outside the universe?
He is with the universe, but the universe is not with him. Huwa ma'akum. He's with you, but you are not with him. Yes? So he is with the creation, and creation is not separate from him, but we cannot say he is inside the creation or outside the creation or away from creation. Because all these relations are, if you think of Allah as a physical object.
So related to that is this concept of transcendent and immanent. Immanent.
Yeah. It's
So he's both.
Yes.
Immanent and
Yeah, as we said last week, especially in the Quranic sense, although he is transcendent, but he is with every ranks and levels of existence present. It's not that he is only with the people at the top or the beings at the top, and then through them he gets connected. Because maybe philosophy gives you this type of impression, that Allah, for knowing lower things, needs his higher creations. Maybe philosophy, I'm not saying definitely, but if someone doesn't study philosophy properly, maybe they come to this conclusion that everything must come little by little down. But the way Quran makes it clear is that no, all these degrees are present for him as one thing, and he doesn't need something higher to know about what is lower. I told you about, imagine a 10th floor building. Although 10th floor depends on 9th floor, 9th floor depends on 8th floor, but you don't need to go to the 10th floor by climbing one by one. Yeah. If someone else wants to go, has to climb it, but I don't need to climb. For me, first floor, 10th floor are present at the same level. Yeah? Or if, for example, I think of number 100, I don't need to always start from 1 and reach 100. I can have 1, 2, 100, all of them at the same time in my mind. Anyway, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَمَّا كَانَ ذَاتُهُ سَبَبًا لِكُلِّ مَوْجُودٍ, because his essence is the cause for every being. وَعِلْمُهُ بِالذَّاتِ, If his essence is the cause for everything, so his knowledge about his essence means his knowledge about the cause for everything. علمه بذاته علة لعلمه بآثاره. So knowledge of the cause is the cause for the knowledge about the effects. Essence is the cause for effects, and knowledge of the cause then is leading to the knowledge of the effects. وكانت ذاته وعلمه بذاته العلتان متقايرتين بالاعتبار. Allah's knowledge and his knowledge of himself, of his essence, they look different, but this tagayur is i'tibari. We don't have two different things because his knowledge is the same as his essence. These are mutaqayyiratayn bil-i'tibar, means in our consideration they are different, but they are the same. Knowledge of Allah and Allah are the same. Knowledge of his essence and his essence are the same. Muttahidatayn bil-dhat, in essence, essentially they are the same. فَكَذَا مَعْلُولُهُ وَالْعِلْمُ بِهِ. Also, Allah's ma'lulat and Allah's knowledge of ma'lulat are different only in i'tibar, in consideration. Otherwise, the same being that you call is ma'lul for Allah, the same being is also ma'lum for Allah. In other words, their existence for Allah as ma'lul and being known to Allah are the same, just i'tibar makes them different. فَكَذَا مَعْلُولُهُ وَالْعِلْمُ بِهِ متحدان بالذات متغايران بنوع من الاعتبار. They are the same in essence, but with some considerations. We say this is wujud, this is ma'lumiyya, this is existence. هذا بحث شريف. Allama Hilli, it seems he was very happy with this discussion. He said this is a sharif means noble. This is noble, this is a glorious discussion. أشار إليه صاحب التحصيل. In the book At-Tahsil, this is mentioned, and Khaja Nasiruddin Tusi has expanded this in Sharh Isharat, in his commentary of Isharat. وبهذا التحقيق يندفع جميع المحالات. He's very happy. He says with this tahqiq, with this way of articulating things, all the muhalat, all the impossibilities that people who want to object could mention, yandaf'u. They will not come. Yandaf'u means we don't need to do daf'a. They are automatically dismissed. لأنها, because this muhalat lazamat bi'tibar husul sovereign fi dhate. Those muhalat would only apply if we had accepted that knowledge is through images. And then Allah having images of things in him caused lots of problems. By saying that his knowledge is without those images, we avoid all those problems. Ta'ala an dhalik. Allah is glorious and more, glorious than having such things. Okay. وَتَغَيُّرُ الْإِضَافَاتِ مُمْكِنٌ. Another objection. This is about, again, an objection to the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some hukama, some philosophers who are Muslims also, but you can find also in non-Muslim religious Christians, for example, Jews may have also the same thing. Some of them have issue with ilmuhu bil juz'iyat. They say Allah cannot have knowledge of details of particular things. He knows as a whole, but to have detailed knowledge, they thought it's causing problem. because these details are, first of all, bringing parts to him, and also these details can change, and Allah can become subject to change. For example, it was not raining, and then it starts raining, that it stops raining. So is Allah, because of this three situation, going through three changes? You know, when I see rain is coming and rain stops, I am affected, isn't it? Because I am affected by what I see. So is Allah also affected by these changes or not? Yes.
Why do they have this objection if they know that for Allah there is no time? There is no essence of time within. Time is for us, so if it rains here and it comes later, it is for a period of time. So he has the presence, or he has the knowledge, all immediate.
Yeah, but the question...
Why do they raise these objections?
Yeah, because then the question is, if he doesn't have time, how he can know things which happen in time? So you have to find a way to explain that how he has no time, but still understands these details.
But he has absolute knowledge, so if you deny Allah's absolute knowledge...
You know, Allah is not, na'udhu billah, like a wall. You know, if people come and go in front of a wall, this wall is not affected. Okay? Days and nights, that, of course, not philosophically, but with orfi daqqa, if, you know, we are, you know, accurate as common sense, we say wall is the same, so, yeah? Passage of time does not affect the wall. But Allah is not like a wall that doesn't know what is happening and, you know, is not affected by time. Allah knows all these changes. But then, how he is not affected by these changes? So exactly this is the question. They didn't find the right answer, which, you know, our philosophers offer. Therefore, they had to deny. But Mullah Sadra has answer, and he says, ilm ijmali fi ayn al-kashf al-tafsili. Means it's one holistic knowledge, but it has the power of explaining all the details. Okay?
But there is a problem with this objection because they can't say that we cannot have knowledge of particular things. They can't even say that.
Why?
Because that's like saying Allah doesn't have knowledge, and that's impossible.
These are hukama, these are not mutakallim. Hukama don't bother if they say something against hadith or...
I know, but if they are saying that because it says it will bring parts to him and it will bring change.
Yes.
But there's two parts to this. They can't even say, they shouldn't even be able to say he cannot
Why?
have knowledge of particular... Well,
What is wrong?
because otherwise how can he be God if he doesn't have knowledge of particular things?
Yeah, so he knows the system, doesn't not need to... Like,
He doesn't need to know.
I'm not saying their idea is right, but their idea is this, because they couldn't find solution, they say, okay, like a king, like a manager. Manager doesn't need to know all the details. Actually, if a manager knows all the details, can be problematic. Yeah, sometimes it's better that manager or leader doesn't know all the details. Yeah, so that can focus on the main things.
Strategic.
Yes. So they have this type of understanding. I'm not saying it's right, but they have that Allah knows the system, and then he doesn't know all the details. There are agents for Allah who deal with the details.
It's also the concept of intercession, isn't it? In the reverse way. Anyway, that's a different...
Yeah, that's different maybe. I mean, but of course, yes.
Sorry, could I just clarify? Is it that he can't know or that he doesn't want to know? So it's possible he would know, but he's delegating these things.
No, for these people, they deny Allah's knowledge of juz'iyat, details. But it's not correct. It's not correct. But they had this issue. What was the reason for taking this odd position? because they thought if we say he knows details, he becomes subject to changes. We don't accept this. We offer a solution for this.
Just one final thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So this concept that he doesn't know details in case he becomes subject to changes, that he has these agents, do you think this is what led to perhaps different religions having this idea of darkness to him? Like, for example, the Hindu faith, who believe in a God with agents.
Yeah.
Do you think it could have emanated from this thought process?
Not maybe because of his knowledge, but maybe the way they understood the power of Allah, the relation of Allah with the world.
But it could have led from this.
It could be this, yes. But this is something that not every person easily comes to this point. This is something that is for philosophers, who want to go deeply into theological issues. But yes, it's possible. I think what more quickly may come to religious people, because, for example, you say even Allah says, if you ask the people of Mecca, mushrikeen, that why you worship these idols, they say, إنما نعبدهم ليقربونا إلى الله الزلفى. We worship them so that they take us nearer to God. They didn't deny God. They didn't even put them in the level of God. But we worship them so that they take us nearer to God. Yeah? So, what that mushrik was thinking, I don't think mushrik was thinking about problems of knowledge with juz'iyat. Yeah? That mushrik didn't think like that way. The issue of power, I think, was more important, and the issue of not understanding how to put transcendence and, closeness of Allah together. Of course, Hindus, they say we don't believe in kind of shirk like that. They believe in pantheism, which is different from that idea of shirk. Pantheism means everything is God, but in a way which is different from what we say. We say these things are not God. They are manifestations of God, and God is personal, but they don't believe in personal God. Anyway, هذا جواب عن اعتراض الحكماء. Which حكماء؟ القائلين بنفي علمه تعالى بالجزئيات الزمانية. This is a reply to the objection of those philosophers who say Allah doesn't know details which are temporal. They come and go in time. وتقرير الاعتراض. First explanation of the objection. أن العلم يجب تغيره عند تغير المعلوم. Knowledge has to change when ma'lum is changing, because knowledge must be according to the ma'lum. Yeah? Knowledge always corresponds to ma'lum, to what is known. So if ma'lum is changing, knowledge has to change. وَإِلَّا لَانْتَفَتِ الْمُطَابَقَةِ. If it doesn't follow that, there is no correspondence. لكن الجزئيات الزمانية متغيرة. Temporal details are changeable. فلو كانت معلومة لله تعالى, if they were known to Allah, لازم تغير علمه تعالى, then Allah's knowledge also must change. والتغير في علم الله تعالى محال, and change in Allah's knowledge is impossible, because then Allah becomes changeable. وتغيير الجواب. But now we want to articulate the answer. أن التغير هنا أنما هو في الإضافات لا في الذات. This تغير, this change happens in relations. Relation of Allah with these things change. Not essence of Allah, and not anything essential in Allah. His essence and essential qualities don't change. أن التغير هنا أنما هو في الإضافات لا في الذات ولا في الصفات الحقيقية. Neither essence of God changes nor his essential qualities change. كالقدرة التي تتغير نسبتها وإضافتها إلى المقدور عند عدمه وإن لم تتغير في نفسها. Allah's power is always there. But when what the power is going to belong to doesn't exist, the relation between power and that thing doesn't exist. Yeah? For example, we say Allah has power over this child. Okay, when this child was not there, the relation between his essential power and that child was not existing. But now that relation exists. وَإِن لَمْ تَتَغَيَّرْ فِي نَفْسَهَا. The power itself has not changed. The relation between power and maqdur, the one to which power belongs, has changed. وَتَغَيُّرُ الْإِضَافَاتِ جَائِزٌ. Change in these relations is possible. Jaiz means it's possible. It's a problem. It's not a problem. It's not impossible. Why? Because they don't bring any real change to God. These are change in consideration. These are اعتباري. لا تحقق لها في الخارج. Nothing existential is there which changes. This nisbah. Like for example, when we discussed Sifat al-Fi'l in Kalam, I always mention for you that, for example, I say, my hand is here. I say my hand is above this book. Then I take the book away and I say my hand is not above this book. My hand has not changed. Just the book has changed, and the relation between the book and my hand has changed, but my hand has not changed. Or you are in the room, you say sun is not shining on me. You go outside and now sun is shining on me. But sun has not changed, you have changed. So our relation with Allah can change, but He doesn't change. And then we have another objection. I think our time is over, so inshallah we have it next session. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
اللهم صل على محمد. Thank you very much, Sheikhna.
أحسنتم. جزاكم